Alright guys, so Flight Simulator launched for Xbox consoles today, Series X Enhanced. Let's talk about it. And so, if you don't know what a Flight Simulator is, you fly planes. That's it. And it's not super exciting, it's not super interesting, there's no combat or anything like that unless you count crashing into stuff. It's just a game about flying planes. Now, am I super excited about flying planes? Do I love planes? Is the technology here really cool that you can literally go anywhere and it's building for building, street for street? Yes, that is awesome. That is why I'm playing this game. I think that's why a lot of people, especially on Xbox, will play this game. Just to go into it, find your house, find places you know. And I think that's really the fun in Flight Simulator, right? Is you spawn in, go find your house, go find places that you know. They have these landmark flights that you can do. Obviously, I'm over New York City right now. They have the pyramids that you can go to London, stuff like that. And then just the free flying and finding your house, your school, where you work, all that stuff. That's really the fun of this game, unless you're absolutely in love with planes and flying and the technicalities of all of that, because they have every single button on the inside of the plane, and you'll see that when we go into first person view here in a minute. But there's so many buttons and the tutorials are so long, there's so many of them. I did the basics on what I needed to know to not crash into the ground, but that's about it. So how does it play on console? Because originally this is a PC game. So like with any type of flying or driving or any kind of mechanic like that, a joystick is what you want because it just gives you more precise control. It's not like with the keyboard, when you use W to move left, you're moving X amount to the left every time. You don't have, incremental control of how far left you're moving like you do with a joystick. The problem is that that's where the advantages of a console stops here. Alright, now on Series X, the game looks good. Especially the buildings on the ground look significantly better than I expected them to. It runs fine. It doesn't have too bad of frame rate dips. I had one here and there, but that was on launch, the hour the game launched, so I'm sure that'll get patched out here shortly. But it'll be interesting to see how this runs on a normal Xbox or even the Xbox One X. But on a Series X, it runs fine, it looks fine. But let's talk about the controls. Other than flying the plane, which some would argue is the most important part, everything else is awful on a controller. And so this is where having a mouse be really helpful, because doing all these menus and trying to, again, when we go inside the cockpit, trying to push buttons with a joystick, it's very overwhelming, it's very difficult to do, and just clunky, but the flying works well. And so, on the PC end of it, you also have the problem of bad flying controls using the keyboard, WASD. But I feel that the people who are playing this on mouse and keyboard, playing this on PC, are really hardcore, plane flying fans and have the whole joystick pedal setup, which you can do here on Xbox. You can plug that in, but I feel like that's more for those hardcore PC players where this is the only game they play all day. And so if you're playing on PC with that, I think that's the definite preferred setup, just for all of the buttons and all of that stuff. Now we do have to talk about the replay value, I guess, because it is a game. And so what's the replay value? Is this worth whatever it cost? Honestly, I don't even know what this costs. I got it on Game Pass, like you should. Also, don't pay for this game. But get it on Game Pass for $5. There's different editions of this game. I don't know what come in them. But again, $5 on Game Pass. If you already have Game Pass, technically it's free, however you want to look at that. So that's definitely the way to get it. Unless you're going to buy the yoke and the pedals and all that stuff and spend $200+ on the game, get the standard edition through Game Pass, you're not going to miss out. You get like 5 or 6 planes. You can fly around wherever you want, do what you need to do. Now, on to the bad. And there's only really one bad. This is exactly what I expected. There's not a lot to do. You're maybe going to get like 10 hours out of this game just flying, going to the landmarks and places you know. But there are microtransactions, and it's just for different types of planes, and of course, it's all the cool stuff that you're going to want to fly, like the the freaking F-16s and all of that stuff cost money. Which, whatever, if, this game, for the people who are going to spend money on it, are the people that are going to buy all that stuff, and the $200 controller, and all of that good stuff. So if that's your thing, go for it. But for us normal people, just, again, stick with the Game Pass version. It's hard to give a number to a game like this, because it's not exactly a game, right? And again, I wouldn't have got this if it cost money. But it's to an extent where you're just it's kind of like a Google Maps simulator to an extent. That's how I see it. I want to see the technology, fly around, go to places I know, stuff like that. So when trying to rate this game out of 10, that's where I'm struggling, because, there's really, once you, again, go to those landmarks and places, there's no replayability, right? Unless you absolutely love planes and want to just fly from one airport to the other. Like, you can do that, you can go anywhere, right? There's not much replayability past that. There's a few selections of planes in the standard edition. The controls aren't the greatest. It's very complicated. You have to play, I would say, 30 minutes of tutorial is the minimum to stay in the air. That's just me. I've played more than that, and I can barely do it. So, really, if I had to give this game a number, I think it's fine at a 7, right? It does what it does well, but it's not the greatest thing ever. Like I said, I'll probably put 10 hours on it and then never touch it again until they add more landmarks. If they had Dubai or something, right? I'll come back, fly around Dubai for 20, 30 minutes, and then that'll be it until they had another new landmark. Something like that. I think it's one of those types of games, but that's just my opinion. You guys let me know what you think down in the comments below, and enjoy me crashing into some stuff.
Full pop. Full pop. 500.